So this recipe has literally been in the family for 50 years. My father started it way back in the day and still trying to continue it. So fried rice, you're going to need to start with, of course, some rice. And the thing is, it needs to be cooked beforehand and cooled down. And I recommend 2 cups of basmati rice, 4 cups water, cooked and, as I say, cooled. The technique for cooking is to mix it all up, bring it to the boil, and wait till the water cooks down just to the surface of the rice. Cover it and let it sit for about 20 minutes off the heat, and it'll be done. So here we have a shot of the basic ingredients. You can just pause the video to read those things. The Chinese sausage is optional. You could use ham if you can't find that, but the Chinese sausage is nice. So, like most food, it's all about just prepping everything beforehand. So you just got to get everything cut up. So I cut up the Chinese sausage in small pieces. I really thinly shred some cabbage. Cabbage can be used instead of bean sprouts, or you can use bean sprouts if you have them. But the cabbage is a great thing in itself and a good substitute if you don't have bean sprouts. So some shredded cabbage. I'm going to just dice up the spring onions like this and have them ready. The shrimps I cut in half along the length. There's about 10 of those or so. And here you have everything. There's some soy sauce in there that wasn't in the first shot. The eggs are scrambled and ready to go. So we can go out to the wok and get cooking. Hot wok, throw in some oil, and the first thing that goes in is the Chinese sausage. And you're just going to stir fry that until it browns up a little bit. You got to be careful. The sausage has a little sugar in it. It can burn. So it goes fairly quick, but you just want a bit of browning. And then once that's done, you're going to throw the shrimp in. You're going to stir fry them just until they're cooked. You'll see them start to kind of curl up. And just when they're just cooked, you're going to take all that out of the wok then. Then we're going to put in a little oil again. And then we're going to put in the rice. Again, the rice is cool, and you'll notice here when I put the rice in and start working with it, you see how the grains they're not all stuck together. And once the spoon gets going in it, you'll see that it breaks up nicely. If your rice is all glommed together, this dish is not going to come out. So basmati rice really helps, or some other long grain rice. But you should see that the rice goes apart, that the grains go apart and aren't stuck together. So you're just stirring it now to warm it. You're not really cooking it. You're just warming it up. And as it gets warm enough, then I'm going to form a hole in the middle here. And once I clear the rice out like that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cook the eggs in that little spot. So I clear a spot. Doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. Put a little oil in. And then I'm going to add the scrambled eggs here. And I'm going to just cook them in that little middle spot there until they start to set up. So I'm adding it a little bit slowly. I don't know how necessary that is, but that's what I did. But the general idea is to just get them in the middle. Some of the rice will fall into the egg. You don't have to get freaked out about that, but you are trying to keep kind of the eggs to themselves there. I add a little bit of soy sauce to the eggs. This time I added it a little early. I should have let the eggs set up a little bit more, but it turned out fine. But the soy sauce gives the eggs just a little more flavor. And then once the eggs are kind of set up, then you're going to just incorporate the rice into that egg mix. And from here on, the rest of the video is all basically real time. You just got a few minutes to go, but this is just how you complete the dish. So stirring around to incorporate the egg evenly throughout the rice. And also, the heating process of the rice is still kind of continuing. It's important that you get it nice and warm, but you're not trying to completely nuke it here. You're just warming it up. And then once the rice is incorporated in with the egg, or the other way around if you want to think of it that way. Then we're going to start incorporating the rest of the ingredients. The first thing is I'll put in the frozen peas. Now, those peas are still frozen. They've been sitting out for a while, so some of the chill is off of them. But it's completely fine that they go in frozen. They're not really going to cook, but that warm rice is just going to take the chill off of them. And in the end, they should be a nice bright green. So as they started greening up and you see that the main part of the chill is off, then you're going to come with the next thing, the cabbage. Or that might be the bean sprouts if you have bean sprouts. So then again, same idea, just going to stir it around, incorporate it in. The cabbage doesn't really get sort of thoroughly cooked here. It gets warmed up, but the idea is it should still be crisp when you're eating the dish. The cabbage provides a little bit of crunch. So you'll see that, and this is all real time, so it's not very long you do that. Then the next thing I'm going to put in is the oyster sauce. So here comes the oyster sauce, and just kind of watch. You give a good dose, but you don't want to overdo it. This whole dish is really based on a nice subtle mix of things. Be really easy to do too much here. But honestly, I need a little bit more than I put in there that time. And here comes the shrimp and the Chinese sausage back in. But when I tasted the rice at the very end, I thought that it just needed a little bit more oyster sauce, so a little bit more. Just don't go overboard. The rice should look fairly white still. It doesn't turn all brown or something because it's just swimming in sauce. You get that balance right, that's what makes this dish really good. So I'm just incorporating both the oyster sauce and the shrimps and the sausage and warming them up a bit. And now I can just turn the heat off because we're really basically done, and incorporate the spring onions, and you're ready to go at that point. This thing can be a meal in itself, but of course it's good to serve with some other Chinese dish if you want to do that. This time when we did it, we actually made fried chicken. So it was kind of Lumadalan fried chicken with the old family fried rice recipe. So this one is worth learning and getting right, because when you do, it's a really good trick to have in your list of tricks. Hope you're successful at it and enjoy.